I will be basing my mask off of a mask used by the Bassa people from Liberia, which is in Africa. This mask is used in secret societies as part of their adult initiation. To begin, I've got a large slab of clay ready to go. I've printed out reference photos, and these reference photos have the mask printed approximately to scale. You'll see it's about 7 inches tall, which is my minimum large measurement to use. So I'm going to start by forming this into the basic overall shape. Using a knife, I can begin I just needed to closely approximate the overall shape to start with. You'll notice this is currently a good inch or an inch and a half thick, and I'm going to commence pinching this from the underside to make it concave. I've printed out a front view picture and a side view picture to give me a good idea of what the overall dimension of this piece looks like. And I'm beginning to create a convex mask so that we create that dome, giving it the dimension and form that we're looking for. As I do this, I'm continuing to sculpt it to better match the overall shape of the mask. And in the process, I'm gradually smearing and pinching this so that it's close to a ½ inch thick. We don't want this to be thicker than a ½ inch, as that's likely to be too heavy and cause it to crack as well. So I'm gradually pinching this just like a pinch pot. And this is the back side of the mask. This is going to be the front. So we want it to protrude outward like so. We want to ensure that this rim is nice and even. Don't want to pinch that so that it shouldn't be thin, sharp, or pointy. Want that to sit rather flat too. Depending on which mask you're using as a reference, will determine how indented this should be and where it's indented. Certain masks are going to protrude in different places, and you'll want to adjust your design accordingly. If you're making an animal totem type mask, you might be making a much more different shape to base this off of. This mask is derived from a human form, as we can see. So I'm trying to create an even consistency of the clay everywhere on my mask, just like with the pinch pots that we made earlier in the year. I'm using my fingers to measure and evaluate the thickness of the clay and trying to make this a consistent thickness. Then I can smear this to further even it out and to increase the structural integrity of my mask. I want to ensure that there's no cracking along this rim, making sure to blend that together like so. Again, we want this to lie flat. We want to make sure that it's consistent and even all the way around. Through pinching, we've developed quite a bit of depth and dimension to work with. Now, looking at the specific picture here, I'm noticing that the forehead on my particular mask protrudes more than the eye sockets. We have quite an indentation, and the chin then gradually protrudes out. So what I'm going to do to start now is I'm going to indent, approximating where the eyes are just above halfway. So finding that point, I'm going to indent the eye socket. And start to develop this brow ridge. through a combination of pressing in the clay, indenting, and scraping away the clay, I can start to develop this line that leads down to the chin, marking out where the nose is. If we look at the proportions of this, the nose to the chin is about the same dimension. I'm going to have the nose come down to about there. And I'll be adding additional clay to create some of these features. Marking out where the nose is going to go. Now I can add additional clay to build up this nose further. And I'm also going to add some clay to make these lips. To do that, I'm going to take a little water, add some water there. I'm going to score this a little bit to ensure that I get a good adhesion. Do the same thing where I'm going to add this mouth and really smear that in, adding lots of water, smear, smear, until all those score lines disappear. Then using some of my excess clay, I'm going to create that nose. Add a little water and smear the underside of this. I want to make sure that those are well pressed together. I'm going to support it from the back as I press that nose into place. And for the mouth, pressing that into place. Then I can further refine and adjust the shape and angle. Got the nose in place. Now I notice there's a nice band that comes across here. To do that, I'm going to add some clay. Blending that into place. Now I'm going to try to develop this hairstyle, these braids. To do that, I'm going to indent to create these valleys, peaks and valleys. Marking first. And I can continue to refine those to create the angles and the curves accurately. Now for the eyes, we see these big bags under the eyes, which makes for a very neat design sense. I'm going to take a little bit of clay to create those. Just making a little coil, adding some moisture. I can build that up. And there's similar little eyelids up above. My mask has small ears on either side. Now we have all the main pieces attached to our mask, the general layout. Now it's going to be a matter of just adding all the different details and textures, further refining and smoothing out, investing time to make this look expressive